She is a powerhouse. She was born and raised in Queensbridge. She recorded her first song when she was just 14 years old, and that prompted the Roxanne Wars of the 1980s. Roxanne was the first female rapper to have platinum singles and gold albums. So she is really a living legend, an incredible figure in hip hop, and also an incredible mentor who is doing amazing community work. So we're very excited to have Roxanne Shante here to tell her story. Let's please welcome her to the mic.
Well, thank you. Let me see, does that one sound? Oh, this one sounds better. See, that's the MC in me. I had to check the mics first. I think that has a lot to do with being a rapper. So does taking it off the stand a little bit, or stretching it. Okay, so now I'm a little more comfortable in my position. How are you feeling out there this afternoon? Didn't it turn out to be a great day? You don't know how much I had to do with talking to Mother Nature to make sure that she worked this out for me. I told her at the end of the day, I said, listen, I'm going to wear my hair in a bun, give me a little bit of wind, a little bit of sun, make sure everybody is cool and comfortable, so this way when I get up on stage, everybody is feeling really good. Everybody feeling really good. Okay, here you go. All right, so for those of you who may not know who I am, my name is Roxanne Shante. I grew up right down the street in a wonderful, beautiful neighborhood called Queensbridge Public Housing, which is the largest housing project in the world. So that means when I was told that I had a lot of neighbors, I literally had a lot of neighbors. I'm talking about 15,000 on paper and 30,000 any given day. That means, and you knew everyone. So there really was not a reason to leave Queensbridge, because everything that was required for living was located right there in Queensbridge. We had our own medical center, we had our schools, we had our nursery schools, we had our stores, we had our hardware stores, fish market, fruit stands, and I'm talking before we even had supermarkets, we had our doctor's office, we had everything that you needed was located right in Queensbridge, and this was before they even gave us a train station. This was when they just realized, okay, you know what? They are one big family. So with being one big family, one of the things is the fact that you don't always get along with all family members. So, you know, of course, we had our moments, as all families do. But one of the great things about that is the support factor. Everywhere I went around the world was somebody from Queensbridge. If I went to Germany and I said, is Queensbridge in the house? They was like, yeah. And I was like, how'd you get here? I think Queensbridge was like next to Brooklyn, because you know, you can go anywhere in the world, there's always somebody from Brooklyn. So that was the way Queensbridge was, our own little city. And one of the main factors of growing up in Queensbridge, and one of the benefits of that, was you became a walker. Now, I don't know if you know exactly what a walker is, but you know, let me explain to you. A walker is a person who, no matter what time of day, no matter what time of night, they get a thought, they think about a location, and guess what? You have no money, we're going to walk there. You start thinking about things like, you know what? We can walk over the Triborough Bridge. You start thinking things like, we can walk over the 59th Street Bridge. You start thinking things like, we can walk to Jamaica, Queens, if we just stay straight up Queens Boulevard. And then before you know it, once we get there, then we can just turn and we can just keep on walking. And then once you realize how far you've walked, you gotta walk back. That's when jumping the train came into play. It was like, look, I can't make the walk all the way back. Now I can walk there, but we're gonna have to hop the train back. So you become a walker. So people from my generation, though I love my little ones, they will never have the type of legs that we have. They will not have the legs of those of us who grew up in the 80s. They will not know what it's like to walk and just realize that anywhere that you saw a Johnny pump, and if some of you know what a Johnny pump is, that's just another word for fire hydrant, you have water to drink. There was no such thing as bottled water at that time. There was no such thing. I mean, at that point, when you wanted to get water and you were in your house, the first thing your mother would say is, go get it out the bathroom. Because actually, the bathroom had the coldest water. I don't know why. But for some reason, if you let the water run in the bathroom, it was like incredible. It gave you this big burst of energy, and like, let's hope and pray we don't find out that it was some chemical in it that made that happen. But whatever the case was, that's what it was. This darling man you see right here squatting in front of you is my husband, who likes to document everything, I must say. Shout out for the husband who can still squat at this age. He was a walker also. Ladies, we can appreciate that. So, one of the things too about growing up in Queensbridge was the music. See, putting your speakers inside of your window was a way of being able to communicate. It was our own little beat of the drum, except it had songs going along with it. So you would hear certain songs in the morning, which would let you know how your neighbors felt. You could tell if somebody's husband left them, because then it would be slow songs in the morning, like, oh my God, I can't believe he's gone. Let me tell you since, baby. And the next thing you'd be like, oh, her husband must have left yesterday. You know, songs like, when you would hear certain songs, you would know what was getting ready to happen. If you heard songs like Apache, then you knew that they were getting ready to have a party, and you weren't invited. The reason why is because you're saying, wait a minute, those sound like party records. Because you can tell when people get prepared, the doors would be open. Growing up in the projects, people would leave their doors open. People would automatically call people out the window. My name, before I became Roxanne Shante, we already knew that the world was going to know me. And the reason why we knew that the world was going to know my name is because my mother had the best lungs in the projects. My mother could call my name on 21st Street and you could hear it all the way inside of River Park, under the water, in the little pool. They'd be like, hold up. Shante, I think your mother's calling you. And I'm like, no. And all of a sudden you hear, Shante. You say, wait a minute. Is she coming through the clouds? Is she on her way here? So one of the factors is knowing that having that type of, growing up with that type of parent, having those type of rules and regulations, like going and being in the house before the street lights came on. How many people remember having to be in the house before dark? And how many people, she said nobody, because we're outside now, because we have lights, exactly. But one of the things was being able to know certain things were just automatic. If it was dark, you knew to go in the house. So now, when I come out to Long Island City, which I must say is incredible, because I remember things like the Mayflower Ice Cream Company. I remember things like the Tennis Ball Company. I remember things like Ronzoni. I remember things like the Bread Factory. I remember things like Gray Bar. It's like, oh yeah, I remember Gray Bar. Gray Bar, they used to have these little metal things, and then we used to bring them on the block, and we actually used to have like fights with them. They were almost like beam fights where you would throw them at each other, but they were a lot more dangerous, but those were the type of games that we played when we were little. You know, exactly. I think we all have a few marks from those. Also, I remember when the train, when they were putting the subway, and the subway was being built. And I remember we used to play on the wooden boards. And we would play games like, hope you don't fall down in the tunnel, they never find you again. You stand on this side of the wood, I stand on this side of the wood, we'll try to balance and hope and pray that neither one of us falls. See, these were games that we would play along with your regular childhood games, but these were things that were letting us know that a change was getting ready to come. When we started to notice that the buildings did not stay vacant for long. They would be vacant for a week, and then an artist would move in. And you loved when the arty people moved there. Because see, arty people had no rules. See, arty people had no curtains. Arty people always had their door open. They always came and showed us the strange foods like tofu and kale and things we had never heard of before. And they were so friendly. that we just made them an extension of our family. And we just thought it was incredible. Like, how lucky are they that they can draw all over their building? And they can draw all over their walls in their house. And they call it art and they're painting. And look what they're doing. They're picking up the trash. And they're stacking it on top of each other. And they're calling it a sculpture. I love it. I think that's what I'm going to be when I grow up. I'm just going to go and collect a whole bunch of things, call it a sculpture. That's me. But you were able to see the love that they brought to the community. And therefore you loved them for it. You loved them for it. You were able to get along. You were able to understand. The fact that they were open and ready to experience any and everything. You have a jam in the park and the music is playing, then all of a sudden you see them show up, they're a little offbeat, but they're there. They don't really got the rhythm, but they're there. But you give them 2 weeks, and they come back an expert. Break dancing, pop locking, you're like, oh my God. They must have practiced all night. And if they didn't have any curtains, you watched them practice on that. All you had to do was just walk past and walk down Vernon Boulevard and you look up and you see them. You're like, no, you're going to get it. Keep trying. Don't worry. You're going to get it. Next time you see them, they were out there doing it, making it happen. So when I was invited here today to not just tell my story as to, oh yeah, I started making records at 14. I was one of the first female rappers to go platinum. I'm the 3rd most sampled voice ever, which I take a lot of pride in. I'm also one of the voices for GTA. For some of you old people, you may not know that, but I am like one of those ladies that swings on Grand Theft Auto. I'm the one that your kids go crazy for. You know, and I have to thank my son for that every day because he was like, Ma, you should do that. And I was like, I don't think that's going to sell. And he was like, you don't know. And I must tell you, thank God for that decision. So, I also have a movie coming out which talks about me growing up here, which went to Sundance this year. It went to the film festival. For Sundance Film Festival, I think they got 20,000 entries. They only select 119 films. Only 15 of them were sold, and my movie happened to be one of those that were sold. Yes. So it will be in the theaters in September. So like I said, so when she invited me to come, when they invited me to come up, and they said, listen, we would like for you to tell your story, I wanted to tell the loving and the good part about it. I wanted to tell how we've all become a great family. I wanted to tell the fact that we now are able to go to these restaurants, these sidewalk cafes, the art, the parties, the getting along. Like, I just would like to say this much. So all of our newcomers, thank you for coming. You have been invited to our home, and we love you for it, and it is now your home also. So please, please enjoy. And whatever y'all did to get rid of the rats that was down here, oh my God. Thank you. I don't know what you guys did, but it's amazing. So anyway, for those of you who don't know me, I am from Queensbridge. I am from Long Island City. I am your forever neighbor, Roxanne Shante.